there's a lot of children in San Francisco, but as they get older, they move out. The families tend to move out. And I think, is that because of lack of services or opportunities for the kids? I don't know if it's getting much better.
I think it's, I think it's getting worse. I just think it's really difficult to live in this city, and it's very expensive to live here. And then when you leave the nest, it's really hard to land a job to help you pay for the rent. So you go to Oakland, or you go down the peninsula, or you live in Daly City, or you live out in Pinole. It's just very, very difficult to maintain generations of households here in the city. And you always have new people coming in who would make a little more money, who are able to pay a little more money, and so that drives up the rents, and it's really difficult to maintain standard of living here for families. And I think we have good services, and we probably need more services. Even for middle-income families, I mean, childcare is a really major expense, and how do you cover that? I have like 2 kids I pay for childcare for, and that's really difficult. And I can't imagine how families who have a lot less money, how they get by, and barely.
Yeah, just making it.
And over the past 12, 15 years since the dot-com boom, we've seen a lot of families leave the city, and we have a declining children population in San Francisco.
Very much so, and the gap is widening between those that have a lot of money and those that are making less and less money and trying to live here. It's much different than it was.
And then we also have like a lot of Black and Latino families are leaving the city. We said we have a declining Latino, maybe a stable Latino population, unlike most cities where it's always climbing, and then a declining African American population in San Francisco. And I think that's pretty alarming. We're losing our diversity here in the city.
And that's what our city is supposed to be, and to maintain that. How did you meet Chris Daly?
I met Chris working on the Tom Amiano runoff campaign when he was running against Willie Brown. We used my house as a home base to do outreach in the Excelsior district, to do outreach to voters, and so Chris came out to the neighborhood to help with that. So I met him in my living room.
And when did
99,
in 99?
11 years ago.
When did he decide he wanted to offer you a position as his aide?
He did that in like July of 2004, and I was like, I want to work at City Hall. Chris Daly. I mean, I that's just thing in my mind back then. Like Chris Daly, I love him on the issues, and but gosh, he's really he's out there sometimes, But I really love what he did around the PUC, the appointments for the PUC, and that to me was like said a lot about his character. That on the one hand, he kind of bent the rules a little bit, didn't do anything against the law. But he also,
it's a fine line.
But he, he put people who were very qualified in the PUC commissioner positions that were not being considered by the mayor. And I think it said a real strong statement about who gets the juice in this city. And I thought he put some really important people in the position. The people who the mayor was thinking, Willie Brown was thinking of, were basically it was political patronage positions. And so I really appreciate his stance on that. I mean, I'm not sure I would make that kind of decision, but and that's what Chris is really good about.
He gets it. He jumps.
But I really like the message behind it, and what it said about no, we want to have the best for our city government. We want to have the most qualified people to run our water system that brings water from 200 miles away. And has all these environmental issues that are involved and engineering issues that are very complex. Let's make sure we have the most qualified people in there. I thought that was really impressive.
Definitely.
That Chris Daly, did that, and brought Willie Brown all the way out from China in an emergency flight to change things around.
I bet that's the last time he ever did that.
He was never been mayor for the day since that.
I can imagine. I keep slipping down on the list of people to replace. What is something that you know about Chris from working with him that people don't understand about him or don't really know?
I think Chris has like a really big heart, and he takes things in and really understands with the plight of people who are really struggling, and he's just really a strong ally and support for people who are living on the margins. And I think people know that about him, but they don't really see the human side of that. Now Chris actually had he did all my campaign mail. It was one of the secrets of my campaign during the campaign, and he actually wrote a lot of it up. And he wrote a letter from my wife talking about our living in the district and what her struggles have been as a parent, and about my kids. And we didn't change. We changed like 2 words of this letter.
Really?
Because he understood it, and he had a real strong grasp of what private our private lives have been like, and he was able to share that with people in District 11. It was pretty amazing. So I mean, there's a lot of things that Chris you don't really see about him, but I think 20 years from now, whether you like him or not, he's going to have a legendary status in the pantheon of political figures in San Francisco.
Certainly shakes it up quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I appreciate that. I do. So at what point did you say, hey, I want to be supervisor? Or did you? Or did somebody kick you kicking and screaming into the position?
It was always like something I thought I could do. And I just looked at all the different people who could have run in District 11, and I saw that my experience was pretty well-rounded in terms of community work, labor work, city hall work, and then also feel like my values are pretty rooted in the community, and I saw that would be a really fun job based on my experience in Chris Daly's office. That I made the decision. Now my wife was actually. I said, I think I might want to do that someday, and she was like, over my dead body.
Oh no!
So I it was
so
like,
you did
don't
it
talk
anyway.
About it. No, you don't talk about it. Don't bring it up. Okay, she doesn't want me to do it.
Why?
So
Why didn't
I won't
she
be
want
supervised.
you?
I'll do something else.
Why
Just
didn't she want you?
It's a lot of work, and it's really hard, and we're pretty family oriented, and we lose a lot, or focus on our kids and that. And those are things you have to sacrifice and give up. But I think she started going behind my back. She was talking to people about I just stopped talking about it, but it was talking to friends and asking them what they thought about it, and everyone thought that it would be a really good thing if I was supervisor in District 11. People that we trusted and knew who were activists, and then on my birthday in 2007, she said, if you want, you can run for supervisor.
That's
I wasn't
pretty
asking.
sweet. That's pretty sweet. And she is a educator. She is a teacher.
She's a teacher. Yeah, she works at Monroe Elementary School, which is in the Excelsior, which is in District 11. And she's also an education activist, so she's with the labor union, UESF, Teachers Union, and she also runs an organization called Teachers for Social Justice.
What is that about?
It's a organization that's about professional development for teachers to really learn how they can be educators and think about social justice, and how they can use their role as a teacher to help illuminate the struggles that young people have with their communities, with their schools, and help them to think critically about change and creating change in their communities. And also for teachers to really understand how they can be part of the system that keeps young people down, and how they can kind of unlearn the things they learned in school that prevent really social justice oriented education, so they can have a more liberating educational approach in their classroom.
That's wonderful. Yeah, my daughters have been going to very great schools. Rooftop was one of them. That's wonderful, and really taught them to think on their own and really look at things from all different sides, which I'm very happy with the city.